life experiences to talk about that occurred outside of our group?
Once again, Tai Chi, I think, was and the group and learning and teaching, all those things have pretty much just boosted the quality of life I've been able to enjoy in every aspect. All, all, all the there's still to this day times we'll have epiphanies from lessons and teachings, and I didn't get them until 20 years later, and then it's like, oh, that's what they meant. I get it. So yeah, it's helped me as far as speaking with other people, just to have the confidence with that.
So, some of my family lives outside the country, and a few years ago, I went and visited them, and my cousins, nieces, and nephews were all there. And one of the things I noticed about every single one of them was they had a leaning posture. So, and some of them would talk about headaches and so on and so forth. And I was like, "Huh, have you tried doing this?" And then slowly and slowly, started getting everybody into shape. And then two of my nephews were in really bad shape where they would constantly forget. So I would have to, as I walk by them, I would just kind of, hey, remember that? I would just tuck in their shoulders back and push their chest forward a little bit. And after a while, I almost became like a general of the posture, for lack of better words. And a few years later, I visited, and as soon as I walked in and all those cousins and nieces were there, everybody automatically sat up. I still recall that perfectly, and I just had the greatest laugh at that time.
Is this when you went forward to Bill's wedding?
Yes, this youngest brother's wedding, yeah.
And then that was the first time that when you kind of.
My other brother's wedding was 4 years before that. That's when I went in and started being the general for like.
Okay.
So 4 years later, I went back.
So
yeah.
4 years later, they all still remembered the general.
It's me, and that this is what they need to do, and all of a sudden everybody just straightened up.
I like that.
I'm teaching in a graphic design program, and this course had 3 instructors, and one of the instructors had left the year before, so it was like getting used to the new guy that was coming in, and we couldn't quite get a feel for him. And he and I shared a wall in a classroom, so he had like 15 students over there, I had 15 here, and I was testing a hypothesis one day. Do some of the metaphors that we use in Tai Chi relate to a class of potential graphic designers? And so we were talking about isokinetic resistance and how that resistance might apply to a conversation with a client or something like that. And as we're going through some of these, we might have been doing hands like clouds or picking fruit or something. This guy walks by and he just kind of does one of those things. What are you doing? Oh, we're just working on, and I didn't want to say Tai Chi because of so yeah, the heebie-jeebies. Oh, well, we're just trying to find some correlations in martial arts to talk about conflict or conflict resolution. And he's like, oh, well, you don't want me in there. I spent some time in the military, and then he just walked off. But that's not what we were talking about. Point taken, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a period when I went to the East Coast to care for some family. I had 2 nieces that were out in Connecticut, and I was asked to step in as guardian as their parents were taken. And when they weren't able to, they weren't really at a point where they were really comfortable speaking, and they were kind of becoming somewhat withdrawn. They still wanted to be around. They still wanted to have a sense of community. So we would actually get together and do a little bit of breathing, and I remember teaching them a little bit of paint and sticky ball, and I think that just that connection of working with breath and that connection of being in a group was peaceful for them. So it was never something that I had anticipated that I would ever be doing, but it was, I know that it was, they told me later, they still remember to this day, and The youngest one now is, I think she's 27, and at the time she was 16. And she said that, you know, after losing her mom and her dad, it was something that has always stuck with her, and so it's good to be able to impact others.
Mhm.